talk about the power of the mind. When you look at Solomon, a man that was termed as the wisest man that ever lived, he was able to record and say that the way a man thinks, so is he. And this has been used within the Christian faith in helping people about their mental disposition. So Solomon was basically saying that someone's thoughts and the person, they're inseparable. In other words, we are products of our own thoughts. And I've come to realize that this is extremely true. There is a very famous statement that is always said. It was put across by one of the wise men. And they say that men are not prisoners of fate, but they are prisoners of their own mind. Now when you think about that statement, it may look just like a statement, but when you look at this statement in depth, you realize that actually most of the people in the journey of life, they have what we call mental enslavement. Why? Because going back to what Solomon said, Proverbs 23:7, that the way a man thinks, or the way he thinks, so he has made it more personal. No, he didn't say the way they think. No, he said the way he thinks, so is he. We were all born, and different body organs were, allowed to grow within our bodies for proper functioning as human beings. Just like you have your hands, you use your hands either for profitable purposes or for purposes that are not profitable. You have your legs, you have your ears, you have your eyes, you have your mouth. So all these body organs, the ones that we can be able to say that are the ones that are within, they are meant to be helpful when it comes to functioning in the matters of life. Having said that, I'll come back to the mind. God created every human being with a mind, or everybody was born with a mind, and this mind develops over time. The mind is supposed to be housing thoughts. It's meant to process thoughts. So thoughts go through the mind and they're processed, whether good or bad. The mind is the one that conceives, and this comes as a result of what you hear, what you expose yourself to. The mind captures and will always process whatever it captures, then eventually it will download to the subconscious mind. And once it goes to the subconscious mind, this is what simply shapes who we are. This is subconscious. We have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind captures, then the subconscious mind, after a while the subconscious mind receives from the conscious mind. Then our lives become as a result of what is within our subconscious mind. Now let me explain something very important here. The mind, or when you look about a mindset, it's a disposition or a predisposition. It's a standing and a persuasion and a belief, which everyone, of course, as time goes by, they tend to simply, have over time. Then that partly contributes to who they are as persons. Now you will discover that many of the things that people are going through in life, it is not so much to do with what is happening in the external world, but it has to do so much with what is happening with our minds. You've heard this saying that you can take a man from the village, bring him to the city, but you cannot take that village out of that man easily. Or rather, you can take a man from the bush, but getting the bush out of the man is not easy. The late Dr. Miles Monroe said, it is very easy for a man to go to the moon, but it's very hard to change a mind of a human being. A mind of a human being, whatever the person has conceived, that formulates the base of their perception and their belief and their convictions. And therefore, to undo that, it's a process. It's a long way. And if you have your own mind, you have all the rights to think independently as a person. But again, what you think about matters a lot. It can be positive thoughts that are helpful, better your life, or you can have what you call it progressive thoughts that are meant to simply just set your life back as a person. And God appreciates the fact that indeed He gave mankind a powerful organ, which is the mind. It's a tool that is very powerful in the life of every person. And I would like to simply look at it biblically. In the book of Mark, not Mark, but Genesis chapter 11. Genesis chapter 11. Some of that are Bible readers, you'll basically be able to understand the story of the Tower of Babel, where the human race had made a deliberate decision, and of course the kingship or the rulership of Nimrod, and they wanted to simply build up a tower. They wanted to simply build a city for themselves, that reaches to the skies, where the Lord, in some sense, where God is. That's what they were trying to simply, in their own belief. But verse number 6, I don't want to just read the whole passage, I just want to look at verse number 6. The Bible says, and the Lord said, behold, the people are one. They have one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do. Now, nothing they have imagined. Now, you use your mind to imagine. So God is acknowledging that nothing that they've imagined they can do will be impossible for them. This is not a human being saying this. This is God appreciating the fact that whatever these persons have imagined to do, they will do it. Nothing will simply be impossible for them. Now, I came to understand that our ability to think or to have these creative imaginations or creative thoughts somehow will always enhance our ability, even our physical ability, and we'll be able to simply prompt us, because they were not just imagining, that imagined, and that wanted now to begin to put those imaginations into actions. Because you cannot be someone that is creative at thinking and think progressively, think creatively with your own mind, and not be able to pragmatically rather activate those thoughts physically. So whenever you conceive a thought, Whenever these thoughts that are productive begin to take place in your mind, you'll eventually begin to engage your entire physical being into whatever you're thinking about. And that's why, as I said again, the mind of a human being is powerful unless we have a people that we can simply probably exempt them from this. People that are mentally unstable, maybe they are sick mentally, which is not their wish probably. Some maybe because they've been into drug addiction and other form of drug abuse. But people that are sane, people that are sober, we have a duty to utilize our minds productively and progressively. Nobody can think for you unless you're a baby. But as the baby grows again, they eventually begin to develop what we call independence. They have an independent mind. They can think. They can reason. When a child has gone to a certain stage, they don't need their parents to dress them anymore or wash them anymore. They can do that independently, unless, again, as I said, they are sick or they are not stable or they are autistic. We have those people that have those, they are kind of in a state of, they are not really, maybe some of their body organs never came up well, or they're dysfunctional to some extent. But largely I'm talking about people that are just saying they're physically okay. When the child grows, they begin to develop a form of independence in terms of, Mom, I can dress, I can take a shower, I can go to school, I can do things independently. Why? Because their mental growth has taken place. Now they're able to think, and think creatively and objectively. Now, if you're going to improve and better your life in this journey that all of us are focusing on, you have to simply improve your ability to think and think well. You have to utilize your mind and use it very well. I remember one of the great lawyers in this country is late now, and he was not just a legal practitioner. He also worked in the government to some degree. He was being interviewed and he was told, if everything is taken away from you, what would you be willing to let go? He said, I can give up everything that I have, but not my mind. Because all that has been is because of my mind. So as long as I have my mind, whatever I may have lost, I'll get it even much more. Listen, you can lose money, but losing your mind is worse. You can lose a job, you can lose a business, but losing your mind is worse. When you lose your mind, you kind of lose everything. Because everything is programmed within the mind. Everything is formulated within the mind. If it comes to materialization, everything is conceived in the mind. And that's what Solomon said, the way a man thinks, so is he. If you don't like how your life is and where you are today, it's not about the people around you, it's about your mind, because you have your own mind, you have your own ability to think and think pretty well as a person. So God said, whatever they have put their mind, they will do it. Whatever they have imagined, they will do it. Some of us allow circumstances to intrude our things, so we think based on the circumstances, and circumstances take us hostage. Why? Because we think based on the way things are. We have what you call reactional thoughts. We are not proactive. We are not proactive rather in our thinking. We're just reactive. I'll show you something else here. This when Israelites were just been delivered, they are now preparing to leave to the land of Canaan which God had promised them. The Bible says, verse 17 of Exodus 13, when Pharaoh let the people go, God led them not the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was nearer. For God said, lest the people change their mind when they see war and they return to Egypt. God realized that if these guys have just come from such an oppression, the Egyptians had simply subjected them, suppressed them, and they were vulnerable to an extent. And you're looking at the path the way that God was supposed to lead them to the land of Canaan, it was very close, but the Philistines were on the way. So the Lord said that if I take them through the way of the Philistines, they might change their mind. So for them to retreat back will be as a result of their mind. So they will see the Philistines and they'll have a different thought. Let us go back. So you see, God again he mentioned their mind. So when they see the Philistines and they see war, they will change their mind. Meaning for them to leave Egypt, again it has to do with the change of their mind. Listen, that condition you're in, you can be able to change. But where does change begin? The mind. You must change the way you think, then it will change the way you perceive, then it will change the way you approach life and the way you act in the matters of life. This is very true, and I want to encourage someone out there. You know, it's quite interesting to know that we got independent. I know some people may take it differently, but I just want to put it across. It's a country got independent. As Africans, we got independent way back. And I look at our African leaders, they are still subject to the aid that cometh from the West with so many terms and conditions. In other words, we have what you call mental colony. Now, mental colony is worse than physical colony because they're using their ability, and because some of our African leaders don't simply understand this. You see, for America to be where it is and other developed countries, they have come from way far. But they deliberately decided we are going to build this nation of ours. Our African leaders also ought to simply realize that we have to simply put ourselves together and begin to utilize our minds well, begin to think well, begin to think, quality thoughts, not looking for shortcuts. We can't be mentally enslaved to the people that have advanced, because at the end of the day, whoever pays the bill is the boss. So they say. I mean, they have no choice but to dance to their tune. Why? Because they are paying what you can pay. But we can avert that by, number one, taking off greed from amongst ourselves as a people from this particular part of the world. Eradicate corruption. Just the mind. We must have quality thoughts that are meant to better and advance this continent and these nations of Africa. Otherwise, when we are compromised mentally, we can't think for ourselves. Somebody else will begin to think for us, but not the way we are, not in the rightful way. I mean, every country that has ever developed, they have to simply work at it themselves. Even us, we have to work at it ourselves. Even you, I'm talking to, you don't need to sit and blame your papa, blame your mama, blame your uncle. If they have acquired things, they acquired by themselves. You also have an opportunity to begin to think Expose yourself that which is going to enhance your thinking. Get right books, get right people around your life that are going to expand your ability to think. Don't hang around mediocres. Don't hang around gossipers and people that are busy just rumor mongering, and people that don't have. I keep telling people that small minds, and you've always heard this being said all the time, that small minds discuss people, while great minds, I know they talk about average minds, but let me talk about great minds. They discuss about ideas, about opportunities. Their minds are fully engaged. Let me say this. When you're driving a car, you engage into drive mode, that car will move. When you engage your mind into what is productive, your life will move forward. If you engage the car, the gear of the car to the reverse mode, it will go back. Where are you engaging your mind? Who are the kind of people that are surrounding you? What kind of books, what kind of things are you watching? What kind of books are you giving yourself into? It is normally said, I don't know why they always keep saying that if you want to hide something from a black person, put in the book. Why? Because there is this assumption that actually black people don't love reading. Maybe to some degree, yes, but I beg to differ, because most Africans are doing pretty well in the recent past. They're equally breaking world records in terms of achievement. But when you look at it critically, you realize some degree there is some truth in it. If I may ask you today, how many books do you have in your house? If you're reading about leadership, if you want to become a leader, if you want to become a businessman, if you want to become a great person, how many books do you have? You don't improve yourself only by buying the best clothes, by buying the latest makeups and perfumes. No. You must invest in your ability to think. That means you must get quality books written by great leaders, both Christian leaders. If it's a business world, there are great business people that have written books on the business, leadership, professionalism. There are people that lose their jobs. Why? Because they have a wrong attitude. Academically smart, yes, but they have a wrong attitude. So there are people that have gone ahead of us that simply, they have set the pace, but they will not simply think for us. They have only been able to put in print that which they had in their minds, so that they can be able to read, enhance your thinking, change your thinking, and begin to think wisely. What they normally say that right thinking leads to right living. Wrong thinking leads to wrong living. Again, it's a personal choice. You as a person, I'm talking to you, it's a personal choice. You can improve and better your life. The things we see happening around us as a people, they are as a result of what is going on within our lives. They always say that you attract your kind. I know we always know what we call the law of attraction. This law of attraction, of course, has been put in a scientific way, but the law of attraction tends to be quite true to some degree. Why do I say so? The thoughts you enhance within your mind will eventually begin to create an attraction. You begin to pull toward yourself that which is established on your mind. Have you ever noticed why sometimes you walk in a very prestigious place in your town, and have you ever thought why you never entered there? It's not because you don't have money. It's not about the money. It is because you have what we call a perception that there are particular people that are meant to enter there. Did they write that you can't enter there without money? No. just going there and begin to see how the place looks like, even if you don't have a dime, maybe that will simply motivate you to see how you can be able to get money and get in there. But most people that I know around, my own country here and probably other parts of the world, they are always afraid of going to such a place. Why? Because they're scared. They say that place, it's for that. You cannot simply decide a future that is less for yourself. Why? Because and allow others. That's a mindset. Have you ever noticed something? This is interesting. If I take the fish from Pacific Ocean, or maybe from Mediterranean Sea, or maybe from Atlantic Ocean, either of the ocean, probably, if I may use that word. If I take a fish from Atlantic Ocean and I take to Pacific Ocean, the fish doesn't change. It will remain a fish. It will still swim. Relocation to another place is a good thing. But if you don't also work on your mind, change of the place is not the change of life, but change of your mind is the change of life, regardless of where you are. That is the bottom line. Some of you are fighting day and night. You want to go to what they call greener pastures. It's okay, opportunities are immense there. But who created those opportunities? They did. Now, you want to go there because you've been made to believe. It's a belief. Because where you are, you cannot be able to prosper. But when you go there, with some degree, it's true. People have gone there, they've succeeded in different developed countries, they have succeeded, and I cannot deny that. But they also have their challenges. During COVID, a number of people across the nations lost their jobs. So, misfortunes can befall any person, any nation around the world. So the issue is this: in the event such things happen, what happens? Do you stop living? Does your life stop? No. Your mind is still there. You can think, you can reinvent yourself. Let us not look for the shortcuts or the shorter ways. Let us engage our minds and use our minds objectively and productively. Remember, where you are, who you are, is a result of your thinking. The company you're keeping is a result of your thinking. Solomon said, if you walk with the wise, you become wise. So association equally matters. If you have people that only think as mediocres, when you ever say something big, they just suppress it, then you're in the wrong company. Let me tell you something. The swimming pool is very crowded, and most people can swim in the swim. But if you go to the ocean, the large ocean, it has very few people. Forget about those who go to the beach just to maybe have fun and stuff like that. I'm talking about the deep ocean. You can easily rarely find people there. What am I trying to say in a nutshell? When you begin to move in the path of progress, path of making a difference, you'll discover the crowd begins to be far. And you realize that people that are maybe around you, they are just a handful of people. The rest are behind. There are people that I know in life who enjoy joining those that have succeeded. But I know there are people, whatever happens within our minds will eventually be materialized in the real world. And that is true. Whatever goes on our mind will eventually become materialized in the real world. Our minds control and determine everything that happens to us as a people. That's true. The mind literally controls everything around our lives. I mean, everything that we do is programmed in the mind. So you can imagine the thoughts that pass through our minds every single day. They contribute in who we are. We have 12 months, 52 weeks probably in a year. And each and every passing day, thoughts are going through our minds. Those thoughts are contributing towards our being, our achievement, everything that we do. The days of blaming people are far gone. Far gone. Pick up your life. Develop quality thought life. And see your life begin to take shape. Even as you pray. In fact, the Bible says actually, in the book of James, that when you pray, you must be in faith, that a double-minded person can never receive anything from God. You cannot be a double-minded person. You have to decide it's either this way or that way. So the Bible makes it clear, if you have a double-minded, so even if you're praying, no matter how much you pray, if your mind is not influenced by faith, whatever you pray, you may not simply be able to attain it or get it. That's the Bible that says that a double-minded person should never think they'll be able to receive anything from the Lord. Our level of success in life is a reflection of our thought life, of our thought pattern. Every successful person that you ever see out there, if you sit down with them and talk to them, you will discover that they give themselves into creative thinking, progressive thinking. So their success is a reflection of that which is on their mind. The companies we see, the organizations we see, they are at one time within somebody's mind. So one person has been able to simply establish companies, and these companies, he has employed people. His idea, his ability to think has made people to get opportunities in life that is bettering their families. One person. Supposing we could all utilize our mental capacity, our ability to think and think creatively, this world will be a better place. It will be a better place. You know, I know you have read a book or maybe have watched what they call Criminal Minds. How they simply begin to cultivate the life of criminality. Then it becomes part of them. Before they are called criminals, it's developed over their mind. So as I said again, your mind can be used for something good or something bad. How are you using your mind? How are you using your mind? You know, the mind is like nature. You know, when you take a seed and plant in the farm, you'll get a harvest. Same applies to our minds. Whatever you plant within your mind, you'll get the results. That mind is like your farm. Whatever seed you sow in, you'll get the harvest. The way a man thinks, so is he. You and your thoughts are inseparable. I and my thoughts were inseparable. God says in his word, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither my ways your ways. the thoughts of God are far much different compared to the thoughts of humanity. Why? There's a reason for that. You need to think that. Our thoughts shape who we are and who we'll become days ahead. You've always looked at some of our young people and asked them, when you grow up, who do you want to become? Some will say a pilot, some will say a doctor, some will say this, because that is what they've been exposed to. That's what they've seen. So who we are and who we become is a result of our thoughts. Contribute big time in shaping who we are and who we will become. So let me tell you something. People go get prayed for, they get delivered, which it's quite okay. But it does not matter how many times you have been delivered from the demonic oppression. If it don't change your mind, you should be going for the same things. Every single day you're getting delivered from what? I wonder what. Deliverance is there, it takes place, I'm no doubt about that. But one has to simply begin to change their thinking pattern. Begin to grow, begin to apply God's word. Paul said in Romans chapter 12, verse number 2, says, do not be conformed in the pattern of this world, but be renewed by be changed by the renewal of your mind. So our minds, we can be born again, but our minds can remain in the system of the world. That's why Paul says we must get our minds changed, renewed. We have to renew our mind progressively. Because you can easily be born again, but you have a mindset of the world. You know, your mind is captured by the world system. You are thinking in line with the pattern of the world. A pattern is a system that controls the minds of people. There's one day that I said, one day Christ was preaching, and then of course Philip met Christ, and you know, later on Philip went to Nathanael and said, hey, come and see, you know, the Messiah, come and see, the one who the Bible spoke about, the prophets talked about, that will come from Nazareth. And then Nathanael said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? So in Nazareth there was this belief that nothing good or unique would ever come from that place. There are people that I know today, in families, in clans, communities, you know, different parts of the world, that have made believe that nothing good can ever emanate from them. In my growth of faith, I came to discover that along the way. You tell people this, they say it cannot work, my friend. It cannot work. They are just always negative. But you know what? They can be negative but remain positive in your thinking. Eventually, they'll see the results. So, the days that are ahead, I want you to make up your mind that you're going to begin to invest within your mind. It's very important. If you give someone a suit of $1,000 and the suit is not on the mind of that person or was not there initially, that person probably may be able to take that suit when it's time to clean it. Take it either maybe just an ordinary dry cleaner, or maybe even wash with ordinary soap and water. And that suit has, if it's $1,000, then there is a specific place That's what's supposed to be cleaned. You see, our achievement in life is synonymous with our thinking, the quality of our thinking. That's why people that don't work at something, they always abuse it. They'll abuse it because they don't know its value. They have not worked at it. So they get it the easy way, they lose it. Literally. Because everything must be settled in the mind. You must have it, you must conceive it in the mind. You'll begin to look at the quality, the value, the price. So that when you have it, you'll also have the ability to keep it, to maintain it as per its value. Give someone 2, 3, 4 million shillings, depending with which country you come from. Come after 2, 3, 4, 5 days, or even a month, they don't have that money. Oh, the devil, oh, whatever. No, they'll begin to give excuses. Why? Because they got the money. Money is supposed to be invested in order for it to grow. But you gave them the money, they use it for their own present desires, and the money was squandered, it went, they have nothing left. Give another person same amount of money, come after a year or two, the person is maybe a billionaire, a millionaire, so to speak. Because they're smart. It's already, they say, if I have this amount of money, it's already in their mind. If I have this amount of money, and it's, you know, one day I had a friend of mine from the UK, and he was teaching on business matters, and then as we're discussing, he told me, have you ever asked people to give you, to write even 50 things that they need in life? And I practically tried it in a forum that we had, and I discovered a lot of people complain too much, but they don't know what they want in life. Dr. John Maxwell used to say, or rather keep saying, because he's there, he said that the hardest person to help is the person who doesn't know what they want. Very true. The person that you cannot help is the person who doesn't know what exactly they want. Many people go to pray, but they don't know exactly what they want. That's true. We complain, we say this, but we don't know exactly what we want. There are people today, even if you get 5, you don't know exactly what they're going to do with that 5 million. Maybe they even mess up your life. That's very, very true. If you don't have anything you stand for, they say you'll fall for anything. And that's true. Because you have no clear focus, you're not deliberate, you're not intentional, you fall for anything. Please, make a decision. Decide. Begin to program your mind. Begin to think and know exactly what you want. In fact, I keep saying this. A man who knows who he is and what he wants in life, he will not sit back and wait for it to come. They'll go for it. Once you know what you want, you'll go for it. One actor said a statement way back. He said, when you know what you want in life and go for it, the world will give you a space. That's very true. You have to develop some aggression. You have to develop some wisdom, some courage, some boldness, some creativity. You have developed what we call the strategic thinking, creative thinking, become innovative, and step out of the box, step out of the cocoon, and be counted among many people that are making a difference around the world. You can do it. You can do it literally. One day at a time. One day at a time. Find out what you're able to do and what you're good at, and invest in it. Work at it day in, day out. Before you realize, you'll become an expert in that area. So let your mind go towards what you are good at and work on it. Every day, every day, every day, work at it. Because you are rewarded. You are, what is meant to simply change your life is in that particular thing. That's where your passion is. Avoid having what you call mental laziness. Because there are people that have what they call mental laziness. Don't take your mind to vacation. No, begin to use your mind to think and think creatively and objectively. And your life will change greatly. Learn to change your thinking, and it will change the way you live as a person. Every limitation within our lives is a result of our inability to think expansively or to think broadly. Because every form of limitation is on the mind. Go do your own personal research. It is on the mind. It will even affect your potential that you have, even the physical potential. It will. Because you have not simply developed that bold mind, that courageous mind. You have not simply enhanced your thinking. So, even if you have this strength physically here, you probably feel scared. Anyhow, I'll carry on with the subject of the power of the mind, but I want to encourage you. Please cultivate quality thoughts to have a quality life. I'll surprise you. When you begin to cultivate these quality thoughts, people that are mediocre around you, you won't chase them. They'll go away themselves. They'll just walk away. Because they can't keep up with the standard, the quality, unless they want to learn. But if they realize the price is too high, the demand is too high, they'll walk away. But they like the easy way. But there's no easy way for great success in life. It's always the hard way. In fact, they normally say, great and successful people never look for comfortable roads to pursue their purpose in life. Instead, they look for uncomfortable roads that help them to unlock the unlocked potential that is given of them by God. And eventually they reach to the pinnacle of their lives. May you stand and be among many, or among few that are making a difference around the world. You'll get to hear more in our next message, part 2 of this message. For now, God bless you. Do your good and keep whatever you remember. Quality thinking, quality living. Change your life, change your thinking, and they go hand in hand. Don't forget that. It is synonymous. Your results are a reflection of what is on your mind. God bless you and do you good. Shalom. Peace. Amen.